in terms of the upcoming workshops or the upcoming exhibitions, etc., to stay tuned with Craft Safari?
So in 2025, like I said, the garment collection is something that we would
Right.
venture into.
Yes.
And we are planning to take it through the entire year, different collection every quarter. So that is something that I plan to take it very extensively. Menswear is something I should think into, and at least in the later half of the year, I think I should come with something like that. And we plan to bring in more weavers, more craftsmen, so that we can have an exhibition out here where people can interact with them. So that's something that I'm planning for the festive season, sometime in September, October. Travel.
Hello and welcome to UPOT, a Kya Matlab Network initiative. This is Ranjana, your host at UPOT, once again bringing you a wonderful personality, someone who's my personal favorite. In words, if I say, she is a super mom, a super woman, a super connector, a business matchmaker, and to simplify, a passionpreneur who has breeded her venture with lot of love, lot of purpose, and lot of power. She is the founder and the visionary of a beautiful culture gully venture which is called the Craft Safari. Welcome, man. Welcome to UPod. I'm extremely excited to have you with me.
Thank you, Ranjana. I mean, that were so many adjectives. I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for coming. And of course, you deserve many more adjectives. I wish my vocabulary was a little more extensive, but I'm sure we'll cover it during the session today. So, and we know you, and like you said, adjectives is because we know you in so many ways. And we know so many facets of your personality and people who work with you, who are part of your life, your family. I'm sure they would agree to me 200% with this.
Hopefully, yes.
But tell us a little more about yourself. You have been a part of UAE for many, many years.
Yeah.
And you have somehow carried this whole culture of our country and God's own country into UAE.
Yes.
How is this possible? And, what led you to do that? To take ahead and, take this blend of being in this land and taking the culture of our land of India ahead at this place so beautifully. How was this possible? What inspired you? What led you to do this?
So, I was born and brought up here. My parents were here. And I would say from a very small age, because we are far away from home, my parents always inculcated that we stay close to our roots.
Right.
So they made sure that we spoke our mother tongue at home. Uh, all the festivals that we celebrate back home, we celebrated at home. I think that naturally comes when we are at a place far away from home. We
Right.
still want to connect to our roots.
Yeah.
And during those days, so I would say the early 80s and the 90s, uh, if there's a July and August, we always travel to India. That was part of our routine.
Yes.
And they always felt when we connect with our extended family, our grandparents, I mean, we should be able to talk in our mother tongue. So my parents always inculcated that cultural thing in us. Not only my parents, I think all the families of those times did that. So we were always attached to our roots. So any kind of experience I've got from India is my 2 months of travel during the summer vacation. Any DDs I watched or any chitrahas I watched is only during those 2 months. So when people tell things, I still connected with it because of the efforts that my parents took.
Sure.
And but my education background was very different. I'm an engineer by profession. I've done my MBA. I'm a certified IS auditor. And there was a phase in life when it was difficult, when I took a career break and it was difficult to get back to career. I would say there was a very low phase in my life. And it was during that phase I took this big decision to do something very different or something I'm very passionate about. My family was a big support, my husband, and this concept of uh, bringing culture over here. There would be other people who would appreciate it over here. So when we appreciated it, there would be other people there to appreciate. I think that thought is what brought forth Craft Safari in UAE, and that's how it was born 13 years back.
Lovely.
It has been a journey where I myself have learned what this is about.
Right.
And I mean, because I don't have any formal education regarding this or a formal experience, it was a learning journey for me also.
Right.
So, and yeah, and the journey is inspiring every year or every day. I learn something new from the people I've worked with, and I'm always motivated to go further
I
and maybe hand it over to the next generation.
Lovely. And I completely agree when you talk of motivation because you spill that motivation. I think it's very infectious to be around you and not be motivated. So that's really lovely. And I think you put it very well that, uh, there are challenges which make us to think and rethink what we want to do. And for you, you have so much on your plate and, poor lovely little children,
Yes.
some not so little now.
Right.
Yes, and a wonderful family, so much to cater to. You have your parents, and you're
Yes.
still a part of their everyday,
Yeah. Yeah.
happiness.
Yeah.
So, what fuels you? I know they are there as your biggest pillars, I would say. But
Yes.
in your journey of these ups and downs, and trying and taking risk and changing your path,
Yeah.
within you, what is that has fueled your journey and said, okay, and go for it. It's okay. There's always a dull day or a dull time, but you need to get up.
I think, I mean, I'm very self motivated, thanks maybe to the upbringing I've had. I've seen my mother
Hmm.
who was always very inspiring. She was an English teacher in an Arabic school, an environment which was very different.
Right.
And I have seen her how she was an expert in what she was. I mean, she so fluently spoke in Arabic. I mean, somebody who had no background as such, and I used to be very inspired seeing her.
Uh-huh.
I mean, how she takes that effort. And she always used to say, put in your 100% in whatever you do.
Mm.
Even if it's cooking, she says that put your heart and soul into it. I mean, it makes a lot of difference. And I think I imbibed a lot of that from her because she is a strong mother. I think that gave me a lot of strength.
Mm.
And I felt it is important to have a strong personality at home so I can pass it on to my children also.
Yeah.
I felt that makes a lot of difference.
Course.
I mean, when they see that I handle a lot of things, it is not easy sometimes, I admit that, but
Yeah.
we tend to manage it.
Mm.
So when I think when the next generation sees that their mother can handle it, I think it inspires them also, and that inspiration passes on. I think so for many reasons like this, and and a lot of support from my family, and it is there in my mind that I mean, I want to do what I'm passionate about,
Mm.
but at the same time I want to manage my family, my kids studies. I want to see that they are going ahead in life very well. Of course, like you said, my parents are here. Then I've got my brother, I've got and his family brother. So I make sure that I manage everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I take that effort. So I think, I mean, it's just there in me that I want to do it. I find happiness in doing it.
Love.
And so I think that happiness, motivation, everything just makes you do it. So it doesn't burdensome. I mean, we have like our ups and downs, but we tend to manage it.
Tend to carry on.
Yeah, yeah.
Sadly. Yes, that's how it should be. And of course, your generation looks up to you. You have looked up to your mom.
Yes, yes.
That's how it
Yeah,
passes on.
yeah, it is.
Do you think there was ever a moment where they wanted you to to do something else in life? Like you said, you've been an engineer.
Yeah, yeah,
You have a MBA degree. You've
Yeah.
been a consultant, and
yeah.
or you yourself felt that, oh, maybe I should have pursued something on the corporate side, or your family felt, maybe we wanted you to do this. Do you feel there were a lot of expectations around you, and somewhere you had a hard time managing those expectations?
Yeah, it's a very good thing to think back about. Yes, definitely. I started my career as an instrumentation engineer, and I took my career break in 2007 when I had my elder child.
Right.
And I tried to get back to work 2008, 2009 when it was recession, and it was a very bad phase. And I tried to kickstart my career. I took up a degree, but it was not. It didn't happen, and the market was not very favorable also.
Yeah.
But I mean, during those times, I think my husband, he told me, like, you want to do something that you like, why don't you pursue that? I mean, instead of sitting and brooding of what is not happening,
Right.
why don't you try that? Actually, it was his support that
Mm.
made me think, okay, why don't I try something else also? And my mother has always been very supportive. I mean, it is there. I mean, she always tells me, you can do it. I mean, whatever you do, you can do it. You can accomplish it. And this was something that was very different
Yeah.
from anything that could happen in my life. I mean, a totally different industry. The industry is very big back in India.
Yeah.
Yeah, but totally, and I'm very far away from India. So how do I manage it? A lot of hurdles, but I think their support and the motivation in me, and I'm a person very spiritually connected,
Mm.
and my prayers and all that, that faith that I can do it. I think all that just push me to take it up. Not that I mean, there were people in my family who were not supportive also, but I was like, let me just close my eyes to all that and just let me just take it forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. You have to ignore. I think
Yeah.
that's always there.
There, yeah.
All kind of people, all kind of feedback,
Yeah.
and you need
Yes.
to be selective
Yes,
of
yes.
what can affect you.
Yeah.
Great. And we come to, you rightly said, this was a very unique concept when you
Yeah.
started it. And
Yes.
today, the kind of package that Craft Safari has for its audience is very different. You cannot just expect it like you're walking into a showroom to buy a sari. By the way, I'm wearing this beautiful sari.
Yes,
Thanks
yes.
to you. Or a premium piece, a jewelry piece, a neck piece, a silverware. I think it's the environment. You feel like I said, walking down a culture gully. You
Yes.
feel like the paintings that you have, the artworks, the antiques, the brassware, the linen, everything is somewhere connected to the roots back in the country.
Yes, yes.
So it's very unique, and also you blend it with your workshops.
Yeah.
You are empowering people to learn the art and to stay connected, not just by wearing, but being a
Yeah.
part of it. So how did you think about this? Like, how did you pluck all these pieces together into the culture gully and make it so very wonderful, and that we feel proud walking into your showroom when we do. So we'd love to know about.
So the Craft Safari was started by my friend Geeta and me. Geeta and I, we did our MBAs together. So I came back after my studies. Even Geeta came here, and both of us very passionate about Indian handicrafts. So this is a 13-year-old back story.
Right.
So I think we had only Facebook. We were actually shifting from Orkut to Facebook, and that phase. And so we liked doing our homes in an Indian style. I think all that comes from trying to connect with our culture.
Right.
And we saw that these crafts were not available here readily.
Mm.
And we both thought, okay, if we have this feeling, there would be other people out there who would also like to have this part of their homes. That was a basic thought process that we have.
Okay.
Yeah, and based on that, we tried to connect with craftsmen whom we could work with, and Craft Safari started with one craft from one state of India.
Okay.
It was terracotta, which we brought from Gujarat.
Uh-huh.
We did an exhibition that time called Diwali Bazaar, and our first exhibition we sold out.
Wow.
We completely sold out. I think that inspired us to go further.
Right.
Then from then it was a learning phase, because we tried to understand who our clientele is, what do we do, I mean, what exhibitions do we do, how do we go about, how do we add to our collection. So we started with home decor. And we understood that it was very seasonal, and then we added handloom collection to it, we added jewelry to it. So it was a learning phase, trying to understand that there should be a cash flow throughout the year so that the brand is sustained. And few things we stayed very particular about, like we work with only craftsmen, we work only with weavers, they are all handmade, we promote them, and we were very particular about those things. And then so I think as each year passed, we tried to make it as motivational as possible, so that we made sure that people always connected to our page, connected to us. I mean, rather than only selling, we had this concept of bringing in artisans, doing events over here, so that it is an exposure for the craftsmen and an exposure to the people over here.
Yeah.
And we put up the store. 9 years back, Geeta migrated to Canada. And that's when I thought, I mean, having a physical space is important now because we have grown.
Right.
I mean, the brand grew in a way we didn't imagine actually. So 9 years back, that's when I put up my first physical store at Gisays. Because Geeta was always staying in Gisays, the brand. People connected us with being
Yeah.
in Gisays. And Craft Safari was born like that as a store, as a physical space 9 years back. And so we have different verticals. One is the retail store where we sell all the handmade crafts of our craftsmen and artisans. And then we have art workshops. Like every state in India has an art form that is unique to that state. So we want to promote that. And Kerala mural art is an art form from my state, Kerala. And we had a resident artist here. And we've been working with him for the past 11, 12 years now, promoting Kerala mural art.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and added to that, we brought in artists from India. We had a Worli artist who visited us, an Madhubani artist. Then we had Kalamkari, a lot of artists we brought in. At least we have one such event every year so that people also experience it in its true form. Yeah, from the right person. I
Right.
mean, they learn that. And it's a big exposure for the artist also
Of
to
course.
connect with people over here. I mean, and to make that trip and all that. And we do one more event in a year where we bring in a weaver. We bring in a weaver and they also interact directly with the people over here. And so that was one part of it, promoting art. And then we do craft tours. So that is where we ask people to join us for a trip to visit the craftsmen back in India.
Okay.
So Bhuj is one place where I started work with. I mean, the craftsmen in Gujarat, the state of Gujarat is from where I started craft. So like I said, we started from one craft from one state. Today, around 56 crafts from 16 states of India.
56 crafts.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's been like a very long journey.
Yeah.
And I travel extensively to understand
Yeah.
how these craftsmen work, what products I can curate for the store. We try to make it as exclusive as possible.
Right.
So I extensively travel north, south, east, west of India. I travel and makes a lot of difference. It actually drives a passion in me.
Yeah.
So when I see the situation, I mean, I feel I don't work for them. So bringing them is one vertical, and as like I said, the craft tour is something that we do. We go on a 3 day trip to Bhuj, where we meet the artisans who work with us.
Okay.
So we make people experience block printing, weaving, pottery making. It's a 3 days exclusive craft tour. So these are the different verticals that we have added to make it as interesting as possible throughout the entire year, so that people always look out to see what's new at Craft Safari.
Wow.
And we plan. I mean, we've got different plans down the years.
Yeah.
To make it more interesting.
Lovely. This itself is so interesting. I'm sure I've seen a lot of women, who unfortunately due to circumstances or lack of support or sometimes
Yeah.
lack of ideas or believe in your ideas,
Okay.
just
yeah.
leave it and say, I don't think so. This is going to make something very different. What is it? It's just trading, maybe. Okay, I'll bring something and sell here. But look at the way you've done. I mean, it's not just a store, like I said. It's not just about bringing the best of cultural assets into your store and selling it. You are actually connecting people to the roots and you're empowering the craftsmen, the artisans.
Yes.
That is so beautiful in itself. I mean, I can just imagine,
Yeah.
how they would feel when people are visiting them or
Yeah.
when they are coming over here.
So when the craft tour happens, so it usually happens in March. By Jan, I let them know. I just need to inform one artisan, and everyone knows that I'm coming.
How
So just spread the word among the artisans, and they're all prepared. Curating the collection for that time. They look so much forward for the trip, and that is very inspiring.
true.
Yeah. So the artisans themselves are very motivated to work with me, and it's a trust that I've developed over years, and I value that a lot. So all that, I mean, adds to the journey that I'm taking now.
Definitely. And so, what's the plan for 2025? I see that over the journey, you have definitely brought in so many things, and it's been a learning. It's been a continuous journey of learning and innovating.
Yes. Yeah.
So, how do you do that? Do you like have a plan for yourself? Is innovation more of a task, tick the box, or does it keep striking your brain like thunder strikes? So, what's the plan for 2025? What more does Craft Safari want to venture into?
So far in the clothing collection, we always had handloom saris. So we work with a lot of weavers across India, and we always brought in saris. Something that I plan to do in the next year is get into garments
Okay.
with handloom fabrics. So that is something that is we have already started working on, and that's something that I'm launching in January. So that idea that popped up also was it was to support an artisan. So my artisan in my weaver in Bhuj, Harish Bhai, he's been working with me. I think it's been around 9, 10 years. I've known him for 10 years now. He's come twice to UAE.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and we travel every year to meet him.
Yeah.
So he had some issues in his family life, in the sense his wife is going through an infertility treatment, and he needed the funds for that.
Mm.
So he discussed this with me. He's telling, "Ma'am, it is very important that I have this cash flow. I mean, I'm worried." I mean, my craftsmen now discuss their personal things also with me. And when I said that, that's when I thought, so there's this particular kind of weave called Kala cotton. It is a very organic cotton that is found in Bhuj, and he weaves it, running fabric. That's when I thought, why not come out with a garment collection using Kala cotton? So actually, all that thought process is when I thought, okay, I should get into garments in a bigger way.
Right.
Maybe, I mean, because being in UAE, when it comes to saris, it's still a limited population I can tap, and getting into garments, into office wear, into everyday wear, but still using only handloom fabrics might open a bigger market for me. I mean, all that thought processes is what made me have come up with this collection. And so using Kala cotton, this weave from this particular weaver, we are working on a collection. I've got a designer on board. The stitching process has started in
Okay.
Rajasthan, and our first collection should come up by the end of December, and January we should launch.
Oh, wow.
So we are planning, like we have planned for the entire year, a big collection of garments. And travel is something that I plan to expand in a bigger way.
Okay.
So Bhuj is somewhere I always go to, but I want to cover more states.
Right.
And I want to do it in an international way. So when I traveled to Azerbaijan last year, I was exploring crafts in Azerbaijan. So the same kind of block printing that we have in India, we have it over there also. Me being a very an eye for these things, I was able to find this also during my
Azerbaijan.
yeah, during my travel, and I was connecting with my guide. So we plan to do a craft trip internationally, at the same time connected with India, to see. I was very inspired to see block printing over there. I took videos, I sent it to my artisan. They found it also very encouraging to see that this is there across the globe. So I felt that I should try to connect crafts like this also, and this is something that I plan to take up. I mean, there's a lot of brainstorming to be done, a lot of concrete plans to be put up, but this is something that I plan to take up in the coming years. And we'll always be bringing in an artisan. There will be a weaver who will be coming in.
Yeah.
So all that will be happening down the line.
Great. And we can all know about all that's coming through your amazing
Instagram page.
Instagram page. Yes.
Yeah, mainly Instagram, Facebook. Facebook page is around 13 years old now.
Yeah.
Instagram and Adventure we have not had a formal website yet, but that's something that is down the line, and we are just trying to make it very global as possible, tap across the globe.
Okay, perfect. And for the tours that you mentioned, and that's something you're gonna enhance in the coming year, who should reach you out for this? So should it be a collaborator who's also wanting to gain something from a business perspective from this store, maybe into handicrafts, maybe into textiles, who would gain from this store? Would it be somebody who just inspires art? Would it be someone who's a frequent traveler? Who do you think can join this?
So usually, so far, I've done almost, I think, 5 trips so far. And it's always women who like to travel, who likes to take a break from their routine life, not only here, also from India.
Right.
I mean, I had my engineering classmate who traveled with me this year. So I've understood this travel. We are all strangers when we go. I mean, there's nothing. I'm the only person connecting them because they know me. But those 3 days, we forget everything, and
Right.
we just connect so much. We sing songs. We have such a nice time. I think that to break free from a routine,
Right.
yeah, and just come together, have a nice time. be more motivated to go back. I mean, that is what anybody who's looking for something like this. I mean, this just de-stresses your life.
Yeah.
I mean, and that gives you more energy. I mean, to get
True.
back to work, and I mean, because it gives so many nice memories
Memory.
that people just carry forward for a very long time.
Yes.
So I've seen these the groups that have traveled with, we meet up frequently and we tend to get very close. So I have found that it is very nice to travel. Travel opens up a lot of venues. I mean, it puts us in situations where we act, react. So I think we learn a lot from travel and seeing other people's lives, and especially because it is craft oriented,
Yes.
we kind of count our blessings in many ways.
True.
I mean, and when we are in our situation, we tend to look at our problems.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not nobody's fault, but
Right.
we tend to be. But when we travel like this, and especially when we see craftsmen and see how satisfied they are in their situation that they are in, no, it motivates us actually. These people actually motivate us to work, or especially my this year's trip, I have had people who said that we can give you ideas to come out with new products if you need help.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, which was very nice. I mean, it's nice to see that they're touched by the
Yeah.
trip. And they always, and the especially my this year's group, for all my events, they try to be a part of it. They want to support, which is very inspiring. I mean,
It's interesting.
yeah, I don't have to make an effort over there. They appreciate what I do.
Right.
It's nice to see that. Basically, the plan of the trip was that so that people see how we work with these with the
Yes.
craftsmen.
Yes.
So it was basically to because we meet only our team. So because even if there are a lot of people in that particular craft, so I think everything inspires, and anybody who wants to travel, who wants to have a nice time, who wants to do out of the box, yeah, they can come with us.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
Great. So, in all of this that goes on, how do you manage to please yourself and get your me time or get time for? I always love to ask this question to my guests, like you definitely have some interests, and I hope you're able to manage time for it. If not, let's hear what's that you're not able to manage time for, and maybe we need to push you to do that. But yeah, like how do you manage that me time amongst all of this?
The me time,
Yeah, short of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of it, but something that I try to do now is I am in my mid 40s. So maintaining health is very important for me. I have understood that.
Right.
Yeah, so that it keeps, so I keep that energy levels high,
Mm.
and I am a mother, so I have to be there for my children for their needs, because I have a age group of 16 years to 3 years. So energy levels that are needed are very different.
Definitely.
So health is very important. I feel physical health is very important. So I make sure that's something that I have started for the past 3-4 months is waking up early in the morning, doing my exercise with a personal trainer, going for my walk. So no matter what, I make sure that I stick to that.
Great.
Because I feel that is very important. If you're healthy, only if you're healthy, you can get to do a lot of things.
Right.
So even through the day, I have so many things to juggle. So that exercise really keeps me well, and it is actually during my walks I think a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's when I think about issues that are there.
Yeah.
How do I tackle? Like this year, a lot of my crafts couldn't come out because there was rain for a very long time. Climate change has also affected what I do. So there are certain crafts like Dokra, which is from Odisha. They had extended rain for around 3-4 months. Only now we got a time where we could fabricate the brass figurines. So there are so many issues happening in the background at the artisan end that I need to think. Sometimes I need to let go if a collection doesn't come out. Yeah, I mean, all those decisions I need to take.
Right.
So all that kind of thinking happens during my walks, I would say. I make sure that that is the only me time as of now I have. Yeah, then rest of it is I'm juggling between my family and all that. And I'm part of networking groups.
Yes.
And I do try to spend time with the people I have over there. I try to make it a point. If there's any event, I make sure that I'm there because I think getting together really de-stresses me. I mean, gives me a lot of energy. So I've got friends group that we have our dinners together, and I make sure that I'm there, because after that, after a lot of talking, after listening to them also, no, I feel very motivated to work.
I'm sure. I was about to say that your me time might be just in the morning, but you have a lot of we time.
So true.
You are that person who, like I said, inspire other. And yes, you feel that happiness
Yeah.
amongst people,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
feel they are an important part of what you are
Yes.
doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So coming to that, I want to see how well you remember the people who are close to you. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do it in a different way. I'll say a one-liner and
Okay.
try and guess who this could be.
Okay.
Someone you like to spend your we time with, maybe, but maybe your family, part of your network group. So let's see. Stop doing everything for everyone.
Oh my, a lot of people tell this to me.
You can name 2 or 3. You could hit the bullseye. It's okay.
So my friend Meenakshi always keeps telling me this. Stop doing everything. I have a lot of people telling this, but she tells me every day.
Okay. Perfect. She's the one. Anyone else that you can think of as well, in addition to her?
Even my friend Rashik also tells this every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop doing everything for everyone.
Yes.
So that's how you are, right?
Yes,
Love
I am.
people.
But I love doing it.
You love.
So I tell them, stop telling that to me, because I love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So don't, pull me back.
Okay. That was from Rashik,
Yeah.
actually. Okay. Another one for you. Hey, let's go on a staycation, but without family.
That is Meenakshi. Definitely.
What's the story behind this?
So we did a Roman trip together, and 15 of us from my BNI chapter, and Meenakshi and I spent the time together. We were roommates, and we spoke the entire night, and it was so relaxing. I mean, after a long time, it was like we were back into not teenage, our college life. So, so we always say, Meenakshi, we should do more of this.
You should do more of this. I am in for it. Okay. Well, if you want me to do this, study this, you better do it for me.
My elder daughter, Gianna.
Yeah. So what do you study for her?
So I've always been taking care of her studies from a very small age, and she's done very well. Thank God for that. And I've always motivated her, and she's inspired from me. So, but her only condition is that if I have to study, you have to make my notes.
How sweet.
So she's in her 12th. After crossing 10th, when her marks were very good, she's built her confidence also. Very less. She needs very less of me now, but still I do all her physics notes. So I write all her notes, and she's like, if you want me to study physics, you have to write it for me. And because she scores very high, I don't have an excuse not to do it. Yes.
Of course. Lovely, lovely. I'm sure, like you have just made yourself so so much a part of everyone's life and your
Yeah.
family, your
Yeah.
kids. That means so much. They can't just think of going without you. And this statement for your daughter definitely means, I mean, she could do it her way, but
Yeah.
she wants that
Yeah.
magic touch that you give.
Yeah,
to
yes,
everything.
yes, yes.
That's
She does. She
wonderful.
does.
And I'm so
Maybe
happy.
it's nice also at her age. She's 16. She still wants me. It is good to have that feeling also.
Yes.
Because with time, that feeling will reduce, or due to circumstances that she is in.
Right.
Yeah. But okay, at this stage, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. But who's the most naughtiest one at home?
Definitely my son, because my girls were so quiet and everything. He keeps me on my toes. And my mom says, don't complain because you were exactly like him.
Oh my God. So he's your replica.
Yeah, he is.
Another hand in the
Yes, yes.
making.
Yes, yes.
Lovely. God bless them. Let's talk about a little more about, the techniques that you're doing, okay?
Okay.
So you mentioned different art forms, and maybe I think let's do it in a rapid fire style.
Okay.
I know that by now, like you mentioned, you know so many states, you know their craft forms or what art forms come from there. And somewhere when we walk into your store, you're able to help us relate to it.
Okay.
I remember when I walked down and I was deciding what would go. Your questions were very particular, like what's the kind of fabric I like, the look and feel, where do I have to wear it,
Yes.
and stuff. And with those filter questions,
Yeah.
you help us
Yes.
pick the right one,
True.
right? So, and that's because you know so much about the art form
Yeah.
and you know what would go best with us.
Yes.
So, I'm going to give you some situations or maybe some personality types, and you help me pick up the right art form
Okay.
or whatever you feel relates
Okay.
from the craft safari
Okay.
to that situation or personality.
Okay.
Done?
Yeah.
We'll try to make it fast so that we see how quick and sorted
Okay.
Anne is with all of this knowledge.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say I have a bridal event to attend. I'm not the bride, but I have a bridal event to attend. And it's in Dubai. So the weather is really nice. And I'm looking for something which can make me shine.
Okay.
So, which art form, which state would fulfill my desires?
So there, definitely I'm going to suggest a weave,
Mhm.
and definitely it is Banarasi.
Oh,
Yeah, a Banarasi saree, because it's very easy to maintain, manage, and it gives you all the sheen and shine that you need. Yeah, it makes you as good as a bride.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
You can take the eyes on, get the eyes.
Yes, yes. And it comes in, nowadays it comes in very beautiful colors, pastel shades, bright shades.
Right.
So a Banarasi weave, definitely for a bridal function that you're attending.
Okay, lovely. That's a super choice. What if we are attending a puja or spiritual ceremony and want something which is light, not too bright, and light to wear as well? Because, yeah, you would have a lot of running around to do. Something which makes you feel very comfortable and sorted.
Okay.
So, what should I?
So I would say a kalamkari hand painted saree on tussar. So tussar is a fabric that is very easy to maintain, but because it has a silkish feel to it, it still stands out. And why kalamkari? Because the bold prints and the bold artwork that you see, it is natural colors have been used.
Right.
So it is not very bright, but still it gives a different feel. I mean, you will be the center of attraction over there.
Oh, wow. I should try that. What if it's a corporate event? Or maybe I have to walk down the aisle, a green carpet, and go to the stage, but I'm still looking to look elegant. So, what should be my pick?
So that also I would suggest a tussar bujodi, to be very specific.
Bijodi.
Yeah,
Okay.
something what you're wearing is a bujodi, but that's in cotton. But a tussar bujodi still adds a sheen because of the fabric that it is, the weave that is, the motifs that are there. It is still elegant.
Okay.
So I think a tussar bujodi would be my choice for that.
Oh my God, amazing. I didn't even know most of these names. I'll just go and pick up and cup. Lovely, it's going great. Okay. What if I have to gift someone?
Okay.
Let's say I want to gift something to my mom on her birthday. So, something which makes her happy, again, is comfortable, and she would adore it in her collection as a gift.
So, mothers, a gadwal, I think would be nice. A gadwal silk. Usually, mums like that kind of fabric. A gadwal cotton would be good, where you have a cotton body, still a silk border and pallu.
Okay.
Yeah, it was something. Gadwal is a place where it is very hot, where the royal family over there developed. They still wanted to add silk to it.
Mm-hmm.
So they made sure that the silk happens only on the border part of it. That is very elegant, I feel, as something the mothers will like. Cottons definitely is always their love. So a nice cotton saree, and especially something from the Andhra Telangana area where there are ikkats.
Uh-huh.
I think that also they would like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
And let's say I want to wear something where I'm representing maybe India or the culture of India,
Okay.
and I want to represent a rare form, someone that not everybody would know. So stand out in a function and still represent the best of India. What should I pick up?
So ikat, the tie and dye technique is it is there in different states of India.
Okay.
So I would say the tie and dye technique ikat from Odisha is very unique, because the way the knots are done and the prints are done, how and what comes out is very, very unique.
Okay.
So that is some a weave that I always vouch for. Something very different is from Assam, the Mekla Chadar. So that is a two-piece saree which is very unique and which really stands out. That is something also that I really love. And from Gujarat, if you see, Bandhani is still common, but Ajrak is something.
Akshara.
Yeah, Ajrak is something people relate to also. And if we do it in very good silks, I think they are very nice. And you club it with jewelry, with silver. I think you will stand out.
Yeah, I love
That's how you're doing now.
Of course, with your silver pen.
Yeah.
Yes, you have an amazing
Yeah.
collection, and I know you customize it,
Yes.
so we can always make the best
Yeah.
of it.
Yes.
Okay, last one in this. If I know you are catering to the women range, but let's say Craft Safari 2025 comes out with a men's range,
Okay.
and we have to pick up a wonderful kurta pajama or some kind of fabric or some kind of garment for the men of the house to attend an event. It could be a wedding or a kind of a spiritual event.
Mm.
What would it be?
Okay, so unfortunately, at the moment, I don't have a men's collection where the men are very angry about it with me.
Of course, we need to.
Yeah,
make it
so
fair.
yeah. So when they come as a family, I mean, when the women have so many things to look at, men are like nothing for us over here. So all they can do is help the women select. So yes, that is something I need to venture into. I mean, something I should look into.
Right.
That's an idea that you've given me now also.
Yes.
So, and because when I have a lot of fabrics in hand, a lot of weavers who do running fabrics, yes, I think so. Garments, because I have thought of getting into garments. Maybe men's garment is also something I can definitely take up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That is a need. And I think, men are very soon going to stand up and demand their rights.
Yeah.
Women have asked for it for pretty long time now. Got
Yeah.
Fortunately,
Yeah.
got it also along the way.
Yeah.
And now men are going to say, and you have to give us our share now.
So for our art workshops, we have men joining in.
Okay.
Yeah, they do come in. We had an indigo dyeing workshop this year, and we had quite a few men who were very interested.
Right.
So our indigo dyeing workshop, usually for our art workshops, they are mainly the crowd is Indian.
Right.
But our indigo dyeing workshop was very different because we had multicultural. We had people from this country, from UK, France, Scotland. It was very multicultural, and that's when I understood that indigo binds across the world. Yeah, we had quilting groups who joined.
Okay.
It was a very good experience, and it was nice to know what they look for and all that. So, like I said, I mean, the men do attend our art workshops, so we are still catering to at least some of the creative side of it, at least.
Definitely. And for all the men who are still waiting for go and pick up a nice dupatta to team up with the kurta pajama that you have. I'm sure that can be done. So, and when you talk of these workshops and, like the Indigo one, how do you promote it? So I'm sure, of course, one is that people would come to your Insta page and,
Yeah.
you have your digital marketing.
Yes.
But besides that, is there a way that you would want to beat the drum louder so that more and more people and UAE is growing, Dubai is growing. Look
Yeah.
at the population we have. It's
Yeah.
wonderful place, a global city in itself. And I'm sure many of them would love to come and join these workshops and experience them for themselves. So, how do they get to know, or how do you feel the promotion is right now or has to be in future so that there are more people attending it?
So for my because we are more online,
Right.
our social media team, I have a very good team, and we do social media promotion round the clock, round the year, every day, almost every day. So any new customers that I'm getting is now through the social media promotions that I do.
Okay.
And because it's been so many years, I have my database of customers. So we send out messages whenever there's a event happening, and people keep checking our page also to see what's happening new at the Craft Safari.
Okay.
So when people come in, I tell them that there's something happening. So there are people who are not there on social media also. I mean, we need to tap them also.
Yes.
Yeah. So mainly just through word of mouth. They might be there on WhatsApp. So they keep checking my status. They
Right.
keep asking me, and what's coming up. So my WhatsApp status is a big game changer for me that
Okay.
I've understood over time.
Yeah.
So I think that those are the ways that I try to reach out. Before COVID, I used to take to print media also. I've done a lot of interviews. I have had newspaper coverages. We have done that. My partner Geeta was in media.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have used that, but after COVID, things have changed a lot.
Right.
Networking helps a lot. So it's a lot of word of mouth and the social media promotions that we do. That is how we reach out to people, especially the indigo dyeing one. We had over 3 days around 50 participants, and I was amazed when there were people from other countries approaching, because it was always an Indian crowd.
Right.
So, and I was telling my team, I mean, why is this happening like this? And they were telling me, ma'am, we have not done anything new. We've just promoted, and how it is reaching, why it is reaching, we also don't know.
We don't know.
So, I mean, it is just the interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, online also the interest, that is how we had all these people reaching out, and it was very inspiring to know like how they look up to it.
Yeah.
Indigo is something that we plan to promote on a longer time. More, we have seen that people are attached to this natural dyeing techniques, natural colors. So we plan to do more of that in the coming years.
Okay.
And we have our groups where they are there, and I try to understand what they're looking for. And because we are bringing in a weaver for this, no, I mean, the kind of knowledge that is passed down
Right.
is also a lot. I mean, that's what my weaver says, or the people who have attended say, not many people tell us the techniques.
Right.
They make us do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they make us do it, but they don't tell us how to do it.
Mm.
But our agenda is that you need to create this on your own, at your home, in your
Right.
surroundings.
Okay.
Do it, try it. I mean, dyeing on your own, you can do your own fabrics. I mean, do it. We want you to do it. So we try to give the basic knowledge. I mean, all our workshops are like that.
Okay.
So I mean, I think I think people attach a lot of value to it.
Yes.
So we always have people coming to us for
Of
this.
course. And
Yeah.
I would definitely want more and more people to reach you and be a part of these workshops, because I think that's the best way. And I think if you can also, maybe you're doing it and we just need to be aware of it, get the kids involved in it, because
Yes,
you've been a lead
yeah,
by example at home for your children.
yeah.
Similarly, I feel for the children of UAE, whether from any country, if they get a chance to learn a new culture, it's such a beautiful way.
We have done that.
Oh, wonderful.
Let me tell you about this. So we had an event 2 years back.
Uh-huh.
So there was an international beverages brand that was launching in UAE.
Okay.
And for the international launch, they wanted a weaver to be on site to weave out the logo and give it to the CEO.
Oh.
So it was a very rare inquiry.
Yeah.
Because it was the event company who got in touch with us to get a weaver. They didn't know. They tried pottery and all, but the client was adamant that they wanted a weaver, and that's how we come into the picture. And my weaver Harish Bhai, whom I spoke about, I told him the idea. So they had to weave out a Godawan. It's like an ostrich. That was the logo. And I told him the idea. He said, we'll do it. And I flew him in from India. We set up the loom at site. 90% of the weaving was done in India,
Okay.
but we did display some of it. And it was a big event. It was a big exposure for him also.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, to do something, and it was very inspiring.
Yeah.
So when he came in, we planned 2 other events. One event at the studio where we showed weaving and spinning. So we had a lot of children that time who came in. Actually, it was a time when children from India were traveling over here to be with their parents.
Okay.
So we had a lot of children who attended. Those who couldn't see this in India
Yeah.
also saw it at the store. So we made the children try out their hand in spinning, weaving. It was a great exposure for them, for us also very inspiring. Third day I did end the event. My kids study at JSS International School, which is an ICC school in Dubai. I went to the management and they gave us, I think it was the 7th and 8th graders, we did a talk for them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we took the loom, we took the spinning wheel, and Harish Bhai was there on stage, I along with him, and we addressed the crowd. We were actually, I mean, that was the most, we were nervous about that event because we were not sure how the children will take it. Will they take it in the right sense? Will they appreciate it? But amazing set of children. They were so motivated. They asked us the right questions. All of them, many of them came forward. They wanted to try weaving. They wanted to try spinning. It was very inspiring. And Harish Bhai told me for him, that was the greatest event of all three. Because to address children, to be on the stage, that is something he never thought would happen. Yeah. So for me, it was, to give him that experience also was very good.
Yeah.
And to see that children are motivated to know this, that was also very inspiring.
Yeah.
This is something that I always talk about. And I think children are motivated to see this. And even though, see, this is very different from technology. They're
Yes.
very tech savvy now. But they still like to be attached to their roots. Unknowingly is very inspiring to know.
And that balance is needed.
Yeah.
I think so. Why I was asking, and I'm so happy to hear this experience that you've already crafted for kids. Kids are very porous.
Yeah, they are.
So what you pour into them, they're going to be
Yeah.
taking it ahead. And if it's in such a way where they're developing focus, they're learning an art form, they are being appreciative of how things work in the background.
Yeah.
There's just so much to learn from one example. So they are taking back in that one event of 2 hours so much more that
Yeah.
we,
True. Must
that
be.
we can't give them probably with sitting a day with them. So I would love to see Crowd Safari doing more of such experiences for kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's
The
somewhere.
school has been very supportive,
Mhm.
the JSS school. So whenever there's an event, I do approach them. So next year, when we are planning to do the indigo dyeing again, so we plan to do it with the school and the children.
Amazing.
So we are thinking children can get their own fabric, they can try dyeing. So yes, it is something that I didn't maybe take an effort to do it, but that just happened with time. But I think I mean, concentrate more on that.
Course,
now since
we are with
mentioned
you
it.
on that.
Yeah.
So we are with you. Perfect. Let's come towards some lighter things. Your blessings, you said you're very spiritual as well. Like your prayers are something which keeps you going.
Yes, yes.
They give you strength, they give you direction, and that
Yeah.
you believe in the
Yes,
universe.
yes.
What's that one blessing that you feel you're very grateful for?
So my faith is something that has made me strong over time because it has not been an easy journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a company to manage. I have my expenses. A lot of people who depend on you
Sure.
for the work. I mean, and then I have my family to manage. So my faith, my prayer has made me strong with time. I have had sleepless nights also when I wake up and think, I mean, how do I manage it? But I think that faith, there's one particular verse in the Bible. I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. That has been I think that my base for all that I've done, or I don't know whether I've accomplished anything, but whatever you see and you appreciate
Yeah.
has been, I think that has been the base. So my prayers has always been my strength. That's something that my parents imparted in me. I mean, so that has been a big strength for me. My family, definitely. My mother has always been very supportive. If I need to discuss anything, I call up. Not that she might understand everything,
Yeah.
but she says, "Don't worry. I will also pray for you. You can do it." So that has also been a very big strength. My husband definitely, I mean, I do a lot of out of the box things. Uh, Suddenly I wake up and say, I want to go to Rajasthan next week. I want to go to Assam. So my husband is like, okay, I mean, should I come or you will go on your own? Want me to manage the kids? So Assam, he's come to.
Okay.
We have gone to, I mean, the borders. I wanted to explore a particular weave called Chizami, and the travel was very difficult. The roads were very narrow. We saw landslides, and it's not very easy to travel in the northeast. But we went till that extreme end where we could see the border, and my husband was like, "Where are you taking me? Where are you taking me? We have a family to go back to." But he also has appreciated a lot of things traveling with me because my travels are very different.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's been a very big support for me. So that has been a strength. My house help.
Yeah.
I mean, they have helped me a lot. All of these things that I do is because of that. And I always feel if you need help, you need to tell.
Ask.
Then no, yeah, ask for it. I
Yes.
mean, it is not wrong to take help.
200
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. So take that extra help if it's from family or it's any external help that you need. So they have also been, and I think they are also very motivated to see what I'm doing. So they also take that extra effort.
Right.
So when I think because of COVID, my son is 3 years old. I couldn't travel for some time, and I started traveling when before he turned a year. So I want to. There was some work happening in Salem. I wanted to go and see that. My house help came with me because he was very small.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to feed him. So
Yeah.
she said, "I'll also come with you," and
Okay.
so I mean, maybe these are God's blessings.
Right.
Yeah. So I've had some very nice people in my life who have helped me, and my partner, Geeta. Though she's far, I mean, she's in Canada, I discuss everything with her. When I need something, I mean, to clearly think or have a clear decision, I go to her. And though our timings are very different, she's always there for me. I mean, having her in my life also, I mean, having a very nice partner is also very important. Makes a lot of difference, I feel. I mean, who gives you the right perspective, who tells you the right things to do. So I think a lot of blessings that I should be very thankful for.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
All these people would be counting you as a blessing in their life as well. I'm very sure about that. Uh, we coming towards the closing section. I just have so much to discuss with you. I think we could go on and on. A very interesting thing that I wanted to know. Do you think you would want to, or maybe you already have ideas of blending the Emirati culture and the Indian culture into the craft safari?
So that is something that I've not explored,
Mhm.
but I know there's a lot of links between craft, especially with respect to weaving, mainly with respect to weaving.
Weaving.
So, I mean, I need to look into that,
Yeah.
but maybe that's something I can explore over time.
Right.
And a lot of Emiratis do appreciate Indian fabrics. Yeah, yes, in a very big way. So I'm always amazed by the abaya and the fabrics,
Yeah.
and I want to see how I can bring in an Indian weave into that. That's something that is there on my mind.
I love that idea. I'm already loving that idea.
Okay, so yeah, maybe I should take it up. I should look into it.
You should, and
Yeah.
just like you, I'm born and brought up in UAE. I think this is our way of showing our love to
Yeah.
this wonderful country
Yes.
who has kept us so motivated to take our culture ahead.
True, true.
I would love to see that coming
yeah.
very soon for all our viewers. That's Anne's idea, and that will be out very
So in my next walk, that is what I'm going to think about.
super. That's super. Okay, so with that, we are inching towards the last section of this wonderful, wonderful talk on UPod. And that's definitely a message for all the women out there who are definitely feeling inspired already. What is that one message of passion that you want to give them?
So, if there's any seed of thought in your heart, something that you want to do, I think take the plunge. I mean, instead of thinking, what will people think, or how will I be able to continue it? I mean, will it be long standing? I think just take that plunge and try it out. I mean, you might fail, you might succeed. That is all part of the journey.
True.
Yeah. So I think take that plunge where some there might be people to support you, there might not be, but this is one life that you have. So yeah. So just have those thoughts in mind. Just be clear in your own thoughts and put in your efforts. I think everybody has it in them to do it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it is there. It is not only me or it's not only you. Every woman can do it, I feel.
Yeah.
If you need that external help, ask for that help. Somebody will be there out in this world, I mean, to give that support.
True.
So I think taking that initiative definitely has to come from within.
Within.
Yeah, but have that positive outlook, have that positive feeling. Do it. I mean, try it out. And I think, I mean, when everything comes in line, no, even universe will favor you
Yeah.
and it will work out.
Yes, that's amazing. That's so wonderfully put down. I'm sure this would inspire a lot of women who want to do something, who have ideas, but they're not able to take it ahead because of family and other things.
Yeah.
But I think you're a great example of how you're putting all of it together so beautifully with that smile ever going on. So, more power to you for that. And finally, why don't you tell our audience what can they expect in terms of the upcoming workshops or the upcoming exhibitions, etc., to stay tuned with Craft Safari?
So in 2025, like I said, the garment collection is something that we would venture into.
Yes.
And we are planning to take it through the entire year, different collection every quarter. So that is something that I plan to take it very extensively. Menswear is something I should think into, and at least in the later half of the year, I think I should come with something like that. And we plan to bring in more weavers, more craftsmen, so that we can have an exhibition out here where people can interact with them. So that's something that I'm planning for the festive season, sometime in September, October. Travel, of course. We are planning on a Kerala mural trail.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's something that we are planning in July, August.
Right.
So anybody who wants to know how Kerala mural has changed over time, or the journey of the Kerala mural art form, because we do craft tours, but an art form as specific we have not traveled and explored. That is something that I plan to do. That's something down the pipeline in July, August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's a lot to look forward to.
Yes.
So, everyone, if you're interested in any of these workshops, upcoming seasons that are there, the details are out there in the post. Please reach out to the Craft Safari and the wonderful Anne for all those details and experience this for yourself. Lovely. And this was
Thanks.
so exciting for me. And I just loved knowing more of you. And I always do that. I'm sure that is a great story for everyone who's going to hear this. Feel inspired and truly celebrate the passionpreneur that you are. And may your passion and power keep creating magic all around.
Thank you so much.
Best wishes always.
Thank you. Thank you a lot.